I want to focus in on just one application of systems of equations with you regarding flow rate. So in this particular question, we have a network of 3 one-way streets, and we're looking at 3 then different intersections of those one-way streets, so A, B, and C. The other numbers indicate the traffic flow in cars per, or vehicles per hour. So we want to then write basically three equations representing the flow into and out of A, into and out of B, and into and out of C. So into A, I have 150 plus 175, and out of A, I have x1 and x3. Sorry, should be a subscript. Standard form, that would be x1 plus x3 equals 325. Into and out of B. So into B is x1 plus x2, and out of B is 200 plus 250, which leaves me in standard form x1 plus x2 equals 450. And then into and out of C. So into C is x3 plus 225, and out of C is x2 plus 100, which means in standard form I have x2 minus x3 equals 125. So those are my 3 equations that I'm going to use. And here are those 3 equations, a little bit different order, but same equations. Now I'm going to write this as an augmented matrix. So 1, 1, 0, 450. 1, 0, 1, 325. And 0, 1, negative 1, 125. So there's my augmented matrix. From here, we're going to do reduced row echelon form. So I'm trying to get this value to be a 0, and then I'll move on to my next column, which means I'm going to take negative row 1 plus row 2 to be my new row 2, which means my row 1 remains the same, and my row 3 remains the same. My new row 2 will be the opposite of row 1 plus row 2, so negative 1 plus 1, negative 1 plus 0, negative 0 plus 1, and negative 450 plus 325. What I notice now is that these values are very similar, so my new row 3 is going to be row 2 plus row 3 to get a new row 3, which means row 1 will remain the same, row 2 will remain the same, and row 3 I will end up with zeros, all zeros. Turning these back into equations then, I have x1 plus x2 equals 450, and I have negative x2 plus x3 equals negative 125. So it appears again that what they have in common is x2. So I'm going to say that x1 is equal to 450 minus x2, and that x3 is equal to x2 minus 125. So this is my solution, and of course we're going to say x2 can be any number. So here's where we can actually use that. We have x1 equals 450 minus x2, and x3 equals x2 minus 125. Now they're saying if the flow rate between C and B, that's here, between C and B, is 150 vehicles per hour, determine the flow rates of x1 and x3. So I'm going to take x2 and plug it in. So x1 is going to be 450 minus 150, which is 300. And x3 is going to be 150 minus 125, which is 25. So the flow rate between the flow rate of x1, so right here would be 300 cars per hour or vehicles per hour, And down here would just be 25 vehicles per hour.